How's it going, everybody? I am Donut. This is, of course, a Black Lives Matter, all cops are bastards, and trans rights supporting channel. You better be supporting that shit too, or you can get the fuck out of here. This is Inhumans, Season 1, Episode 5, Something Inhuman This Way Comes. Based off of the old Macbeth line that I know nothing about, so I'm not even going to try and guess off of any specifics as to what that means, but I'm guessing it is, the world slowly learning more about Inhumans. I mean, they already have, but as a like Adelan coming to Earth, maybe that is actually about to happen. The only thing I can think of that would be worthy of that title, I think, unless it's just gonna be something simple like "Here Comes Black Bolt." But who knows? Let's get into it. Okay, so it seems like everybody is sort of getting their focus episode. We had Black Bolt, then we had Medusa, now we have Karnak, and potentially Gorgon as well, if you want to call this a Karnak-Gorgon episode. Not really, because Gorgon's only there in the flashbacks. We could still have a whole other part with Gorgon, but Gorgon has also had a whole, sort of thing by himself already, so maybe you could call that original thing his focus episode, but we didn't get a flashback with it, so Gorgon is kind of, he had his episode, but we waited to get the flashback till this one. Maybe if that's how you want to look at it. But either way, Crystal is next, assumingly, and Maximus kind of was included in the Black Bolt stuff, and also Maximus just had some flashbacks scattered throughout. So I think that we're not going to get one for Maximus specifically, but we could get a whole another one for Maximus, to be fair, because where he was at the end of this episode was in a very interesting place. We'll talk about that in a second. But Karnak and Gorgon, I really like them a lot. I think this episode did a much better job of showing their friendship than every episode aside from episode 1 has been doing, especially with Gorgon. In episode 1, Gorgon felt very overly cheerful. Even when a situation was bad, he was still not the one who was the most upset by it. He had a little bit of overjoyous to him. And he was, very ignorant in a way. He is a goofball. He doesn't think things through very much. Whereas, in the fight with the Hawaiian guys, with Hula and with all of them, he didn't seem like that at all. He seemed like a completely different character. And I'm glad that we've brought this side to him back because, I don't know, he just felt strange in the past every episode between 1 and 5. So, the flashback really helped as well, like, showing what they were like, before everything was going down, because we got to see so few of it before the whole Triton situation came up. So, which, by the way, what's still going to happen with Triton? Everybody sort of just stopped caring about Triton. So, I mean, they've got other problems going on, but nobody has even mentioned, like, oh, by the way, we still got to get Triton, he might not be dead. So, not sure what's going on there. The girl with the rose on her jacket is definitely going to come back in some way. Still not sure how yet, but it's going to come back. And so exactly what I thought was going to happen with Crystal is happening with Crystal. We are getting the rom-com thing. To be fair, like Crystal said, this guy, I had a completely different idea of what he was going to be like. I didn't even know that he was native to Hawaii, because he certainly doesn't look like it. But, he is much better than I thought he was going to be. He is more, that just hang loose, have fun. I loved the scene of her saying, like, I gotta go after my family. And he's like, yeah, your family can wait. What are you finding your family right now? Have you done anything that has been, going closer to finding your family? No, we've just been kind of sidetracking this entire time. So might as well just continue to sidetrack, because what are you going to do? Like, even with Lockjaw, it's unclear if that's going to be able to help it or not. If she wants to find her family, what is she going to do if she can't just teleport to them? Like, seriously, what is she going to do? Is she going to think, like, oh, let me go look at some, like, news clips or something and try and find... Like, I don't think Crystal would think something like that. So, unless they come to her, I don't know how she's going to get to the Medusa or any of them. Because, again, Lockjaw does not seem to be able to do the thing of bring me to this person. Just bring me to this location, and as a location, she can say, bring me where you brought this person, but not bring me to that person. At least I'm assuming that's the case. Otherwise, I don't know why she just wouldn't have already teleported to Medusa in them. I actually really like how we're handling the kill squad, I guess we'll call them, because we're seeing them all in such vastly different lights, which is nice. I thought they were going to be this generic kill squad that was just going to be, a fight and then taken out and whatever, and Oron was going to be our only, interesting one here. But we've gotten various things from the spider acid guy who never talked at all. I don't think he had one speaking line at all, and now he is completely dead. And we got to learn a little bit more of his ability through his autopsy. And then we have Oron, who is the actual, main one. And she actually, I can't believe, she actually died. She died, was dead, and she can bring herself back from the dead. Does she have immortality and, eternal youth as well? Can she, take away wrinkles and stuff? Does that count? I don't know. She might be, ancient. Who knows? I don't think so, but it could be something like that. And then we have Locus, who got captured and was being drugged around by them as just the royal finder of things, as they called her. And then we also have Mortis and Flora going around with the guy who I still don't think we have a name for, the big Hawaiian dude who can melt stuff, the other Inhuman. And yeah, so it seems like Declan didn't know that he was an Inhuman at all. I guess he just, was calling up some random, he was just, I don't know why he would have been in contact with him in prison then. Or why he would have known about him or talked to him specifically. I don't know, that doesn't make any sense to me, but maybe it'll all be cleared up later. Anyway, they have him captured as just a hostage, and we now have just all these different factions or not even factions, but just, they're all doing these different things, so we get to see them in completely different lights, and it's really making them stand out more as characters rather than just as, backdrop, a generic killed squad, backdrop people, whatever. Though, that said, Locust did die in the most forced way possible. I mean, that whole scene was the most forced thing possible, and buckle in, because it's only going to get worse. I can really tell we're going to end this with a Black Bolt is still going to be king, and there's still going to be a caste system, but he is going to explain that he has dealt with, people dying before, and so that it's fine to have a caste system because he knows pain, or I don't know. I really don't know what they're trying to imply here, but they are still going for this, it's this thing that's been brought up since episode 1 that I talked about of it's hard to root for Black Bolt because we don't know where he's coming from, but at this point, we kind of do know where he's coming from, right? What could he say? Well, not physically say, but, what could he tell the people of Adelan that wouldn't be completely out of left field? What would be believable for him to tell them that is I am trying to do something for the betterment of you guys? Or is it going to be he is going to try and convince them that things are fine the way they are? That's what I'm worried about. I don't know where we're gonna go with the ending, but I can already tell it ain't gonna be good. Oh boy, it ain't gonna be good. Okay, going back to Karnak and Jen, I'm glad that Karnak got to have a relationship, as brief as it was. I'm glad that he got to have a relationship with somebody besides Gorgon, that he was able to understand another human, and it sucks that he had to, break his brain, essentially, in order to be able to empathize with somebody else. But hopefully now, when his powers come back, he's able to more empathize, whatever, with other people. And I think that will, help him grow a lot more and have fun a lot more, as we've seen him being able to have now as well. And again, I hope that he's still able to have that when his brain is back in full functioning condition. Now, how he was able to split a bullet in half with a karate chop, I have absolutely no idea. I'm not even going to touch on that. 100% assume that's not possible, but I'm not going to touch on that. Whatever. Really cool seeing him do the practicing with a bunch of weapons. I assume maybe that's just weapons that he has used over the many years he has been in the comics or something. But either way, it was just fun seeing him practice with them and everything like that. And then, being okay, I'm going to use this stick because it has the long reach and everything. And then he uses it very briefly and it immediately gets cut in half, and he has to then use it as I guess chainless nunchucks. It's probably a better word for just 2 sticks, but I don't know what that would be. And the killer guy, I don't know what his name was, but his plan, I don't know what his plan exactly was, because he buried Ted. Well, he didn't even bury Ted. He dug a grave, then put Ted in the grave, and then was going to put them in the grave as well. So instead of then going to kill them at night with the gun that he had, he then waited till morning, sat outside to wait for them to leave the tent, then, did a whole, not like a monologue, wanted to say a cool line before he shot them, which, even if he was able to, even if he didn't karate chop the bullet in half, that was still such a bad plan, because he would have shot Karnak, and assumingly Jin would have just ran. And it would have gone probably about exactly as it had gone, just he would have killed that guy. And maybe if he didn't miss, you got a revolver with 6 bullets, you're going to be, it's actually kind of hard to kill a human with a bullet. It's kind of hard, honestly. Unless you're hitting this guy's definitely not a, trained shooter. He barely knows what the hell he's doing. So, dumb plan. Not saying it's bad writing or anything, but just him as a character, dumb plan. Should have killed him at night. I was like, he probably has like a knife or something, doesn't have a gun, so it's going to be a big tussle or something. But no, it was so easy for him, and he still fucked it up. And I'm so glad that the drug dealer just came along and was just like, no, I can see how bad you are at just using your brain at all, so I'm just going to take you out of this equation right now. It's all mine now. And Jen, my god, what an insane, badass woman. Like, she was just trudging through the whole forest with with the bullet inside her half the time, and then he finally got it out. She withstood, him getting the bullet out and everything, and, I mean, just unbelievable. Even at the end where she's just like, alright, I'm gonna go to the police now, bye. And just assuming I'm gonna walk miles through the forest to go to talk to the police. Or go to the hospital, hopefully. Jen, I hope we see her again. I hope the Karnak is able to, form an actual relationship with her. It was pretty ridiculous that she was not like, here's my number. I know he doesn't have a cell phone or something, but still, it is a way to, the movies do so much, okay, time for us to leave and never see each other again for no reason at all, other than just for dramatic moments. It's one of the tropes I hate the most in movies. It makes no sense. Nobody in real life does that. Nobody in real life is like, we had the best time ever. Let's never talk to each other ever again. And so, with Maximus, we have these hooded people who seem to be... the one guy with the, ridges on his forehead seemed to be the same ones that were out killing Tybor. But that could just be... the the MCU likes to do that a lot. They like to do that forehead ridges stuff as that's alien. And I don't know, it's always the least alien looking of anything, but whatever. Crystal looks more alien than they do, but that just looks like you got a bump on your head. But either way, maybe not the same person. Regardless, they are planning to do a coup on a coup. They want to, assumingly, overthrow Maximus as king, and who they want to instill as king, who knows. They were going to Tybor Tybor, I'm not sure which one it is. I think Tybor. They were going to him because they just wanted to know what him and the king were talking about, and they wanted to sort of get some information out of him. But, so they were surprised when they were like, oh, you actually don't like Maximus. Okay, then you are on our side. Cool. Now, is whoever they're planning to instill as the leader going to be better? And maybe they're not going to instill anybody as leader. That would be grand. If they could just, overthrow Maximus and not install their own king, then that would be grand. But I'm now worried that they're going to try and install, Tybor as the king or something. Even though they didn't go to him for that. Even though they weren't planning for that. I think now they might decide on that. And I really don't want that, because Tybor, as much as I respect him for standing up to Maximus, he is also a very bad person as well. He cares about the people of Adelan, but at the same time, he is a part of the Jedi Council and is a huge dick, we have seen. To Maximus and to, just other people who aren't as, highly regarded because of the caste system. I don't want him to be king, certainly not. So, what's gonna happen here? Who else would be king? I don't know, there's very little people. Brunaja, maybe? But, he's like a kid and knows nothing. It's not even like we've been focusing on him as another character, but he's the only other one I can think of that, is a character that has potential to be. There's other characters that are half aligned with Maximus, like Auron, but I don't see that. I just don't see it. And also, I don't trust her. She's also going to be extremely bad, so... I think, again, at the end we are going to end on Black Bolt, but I wish that wasn't the case. What's going to happen with Maximus by the end of the series? Is Maximus just going to die? I sure hope not, because he has done, like, if anybody deserves to die, Black Bolt deserves to die. Like, Black Bolt has done way worse than Maximus has. Maximus has just done worse in the immediate sense. But, so, I hope that Maximus doesn't die or get locked away or something. I hope he just, like, gets to live on Earth or something, because that would be a better outcome. Yeah, I'm worried as to where we're gonna go with the cloaked guys. It seems like everybody in the series is awful, and I like my series with moral greatness, but at the same time, I'm kind of sick of moral greatness at the same time. Like, in both ways, it is very interesting, and at the same time, it's like, yeah, but I want some people to root for. Like, give me one, even if they're side characters. Like, boy, howdy. But when everybody is just such a intenseness of gray, it's hard to be like, how do I want this series to end? It makes for entertaining in the moment, but it makes for a very disappointing end. And I feel like that's honestly why a lot of people are not, that into endings in general. Almost anytime anything ever ends, people are disappointed by it. And I do think of that a good portion of that goes into the fact that a lot of those series are just morally gray, so then they have to end morally gray as well, so it just ends kind of disappointingly. And I'm worried this series is going to happen the same way. But we got the whole family together except for Crystal. We now have all the villains coming back together at Declan's place with a hostage, and they're going to wait for Black Bolt to go there. So next episode, everybody's going to confront, but then we still have, 3 episodes left, so how is it going to play out besides that? I really have no guesses, actually. I'm excited to see what role Declan's going to play going forward. And, yeah, I guess that's really it. I'm very excited to see if Maximus is going to change at all, because it did seem like when he was talking to the statue of his father that he sort of realized that he has been doing this stuff for the good of Maximus and not for the good of Adelan. And I hope that is going to spur some change within him, but I don't know if that's actually what he was thinking or not. It's hard to tell. Alright, I will see you guys for the next one. I don't know how Crystal's going to get connected in all this. Crystal's so separated, I don't know how she's going to get, wrapped up into all this. No idea. She could just stay separate. Also, actually, I didn't mention it, but Luis, I have been liking a lot more in this episode. Now that she is with everybody else and can see how awful they are, she's a lot more interesting rather than when she was with Medusa and was just kind of wanting to help Medusa for reasons I didn't understand. But here we are now. I will see you guys for the next one. Until then, get the fuck out of here.